Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We got a ton of requests to take a look at the John. Let's jump into that.
Yeah, this is a fascinating one because it really plays with what a heel turn, even like it used to be so clear cut. The good guy goes bad, they cheat to win, they start disrespecting the fans.
Right.
But what Cena's doing here, this is something different.
Yeah, for anyone who might not be super familiar with wrestling lingo, a heel turn is basically when a wrestler switches from being the good guy, the hero, to the villain. And Cena's speech, like you said, it wasn't just some typical bad guy rant. He was calling out the fans directly, saying they were in an abusive relationship with him. I mean, those are some strong words.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it makes you wonder, is this just Cena playing a character? Or is there something more going on here? Like he was talking about feeling like a victim, saying the fans have been awful to him. He even said he's breaking up with them. It's almost like he's blurring the lines between John Cena, the performer, and John Cena, the person.
Right, and the crowd's reaction was electric. You could hear the shock at first.
Yeah.
Then this silence. Then the boos just started pouring in. Some people were even chanting, "Shut the F up!"
Yeah, that discomfort, that tension. That's the power of a good heel turn. Cena took everything the fans thought they knew about him, all those years of hustle, loyalty, respect, and he just kind of threw it back in their faces.
Yeah, it's like he was accusing them of taking him for granted. Like no matter what he did, it was never enough. He even called out the people who only cheer when he talks about retiring. I mean, is there any truth to that?
Every single night, they give so much of themselves to entertain. And fans can be fickle. They have their favorites. And yeah, sometimes they might lose sight of the person behind the character.
So is Cena's anger, this bitterness, is it real or is it all just part of the show?
Honestly, it's hard to say for sure, and I think that's what makes it so brilliant. WWE is playing with that ambiguity. It keeps people guessing, keeps them invested.
And then there's the timing of this whole thing. It happens just a couple of weeks before WrestleMania 41, where he's facing Cody Rhodes, the current WWE champion.
Oh yeah, Cody Rhodes, the perfect foil to Cena's new persona. He's everything Cena claims to hate, Young, optimistic, still super connected to the fans, and WWE knows exactly how to play that up.
You're talking about when the crowd started chanting Cody during Cena's rant.
Exactly. That wasn't some random fan reaction. WWE orchestrated that, I guarantee it. They're masters at manipulating the crowd, fueling a narrative.
So they basically gave Cena exactly what he was complaining about. They turned their attention to the new toy.
Exactly, and you could practically see Cena feeding off that energy,
Yeah.
getting more and more fired up. It's classic heel stuff, using the crowd's reactions, even the negative ones, to his advantage.
Man, this whole segment was like a masterclass in psychological manipulation, both on Cena's part and on WWE's part. But before we go too deep into that, let's rewind a bit. Go back to the start of Cena's speech. You mentioned before how he was using some really specific language, almost like he was breaking down a real relationship.
Oh yeah, totally. He called it toxic, dysfunctional, even an abusive relationship. Those aren't your typical wrestling insults. He was trying to get under the fans' skin, make them really feel his anger.
And it worked too. You could hear that shift in the crowd, from stunned silence to genuine anger.
Yeah, and that's what makes this whole thing so interesting, right? He's not just saying, "I'm the bad guy now, boo me." He's making the audience think about some uncomfortable stuff about their own relationship with wrestling, with celebrity, with entertainment in general.
Makes you wonder about the pressure that wrestlers face, Like Cena talks about feeling like a toy, feeling like he's being used by the fans.
Oh, absolutely. That's something a lot of performers struggle with. Not just wrestlers. Imagine being in the public eye constantly. Millions of people scrutinizing your every...
So when Cena's up there talking about feeling used, talking about the fans stealing his personal moments, is there any truth to that? Is he speaking from a place of real frustration?
There's definitely a feeling that he's tapping into something genuine.
Yeah.
Something that goes beyond just playing a heel. But at the same time, we can't forget this is still WWE. It's a business. That's the mystery, isn't it? That's what makes this whole thing so compelling.
There's still a lot to dig into here. Cody Rhodes' rebuttal, what this means for Cena's legacy in the long run. We'll get to all that in a bit.
Oh yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to get into the psychology behind this heel turn, the history of wrestler-fan relationships, and how WWE uses these kinds of stories to keep their audience. You guys have been bad fans. It's more like he's the one who's been wronged. You know what I mean?
Like when he said that whole thing about being in an abusive relationship?
Exactly. It's such a powerful way to flip the script and make everyone watching question their own part in this.
So he's saying the fans are the bad guys here, not him.
Yeah, in a way, he is. And that's pretty bold, especially for a guy like John Cena, right? Mr. Hustle, loyalty, respect.
But, like, is there any truth to what he's saying? Have fans actually been abusive towards him?
Well, I mean, it's not like they're out there physically hurting him or anything. But think about it. When you're the object of that kind of intense fandom, it can take a toll. All that scrutiny, the pressure to be perfect all the time.
It's like some fans feel like they have the right to tell wrestlers how to live their lives.
Right. Remember when CM Punk walked out back in 2014? He blamed fan pressure and creative burnout for a lot of it.
Yeah, and he's not the only one who's struggled with that kind of stuff. Seems like Cena might be tapping into something real here.
I think he is. And by calling it an abusive relationship, he's really saying something about the not-so-great side of fame. The toll it can take on these performers.
Makes you wonder how much of this is coming from Cena's own experiences.
I think there's a good chance that at least some of this is genuine. He's been the face of WWE for what, like 20 years? He's seen it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. It wouldn't be surprising if he's got some resentment towards the more toxic fans out there, you know.
What about WWE's role in all of this? Are they using Cena's real feelings to make money?
That's a really tough one to answer. It's hard to say what's really going on behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, WWE is a business, right? They're always going to be looking for ways to get people talking.
So they're using Cena's real frustrations to hype up this feud with Cody Rhodes?
It's possible, yeah. And think about the timing of this whole thing. Just a few weeks before WrestleMania. Their biggest show of the year. It's almost too perfect.
It's all very calculated, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something genuine about Cena's feelings, too. But WWE knows how to use that. They're master storytellers. They know how to mix real-life drama into their storylines.
But isn't that kind of manipulative?
I mean, it can seem that way, yeah. But that's also what makes pro wrestling so unique. It's real and fake all at the same time. It's athleticism and performance art. And the best stories, the ones that really grab you, they're usually the ones that blur those lines.
So what does this heel turn mean for Cena's legacy?
It's hard to say for sure. It's risky, no doubt. He might turn off some of his longtime fans. But it could also be a really smart move, a way to reinvent himself and stay relevant.
It's almost like he's rebelling against his own image, right? Again,
Ready to embrace something a little darker, a little more complicated.
yeah, and that's what makes it so fascinating. He's not just some one-dimensional villain. He's got real issues. He's angry about real things.
And that's what makes him such a great character, even as a heel. He makes us think about some things we might not want to think about. The nature of fandom.
Yeah.
The pressure these guys are under. Where the line is between what's real and what's fake.
Okay, so we've got this really interesting dynamic building between Cena and Rhodes. And it all comes down to WrestleMania 41. How do you see it playing out?
I think the big question is this heel turn for real? Is John Cena really done being the good guy? Or is this all just to set up this fight with Rhodes?
If it is temporary, that's a huge risk. I mean, alienating a huge part of your audience right before WrestleMania.
It was a gamble for sure. But it's a gamble that could really pay off. Think about it. The fans are either going to hate Cena's guts, which makes Rhodes' win even more satisfying, or they'll be dying to see Cena come back to the light, which gives his character a whole new direction.
So no matter what happens at WrestleMania, this heel turn could totally change Cena's career.
Absolutely. This is a big turning point for him. We might look back at this as the beginning of Cena's last chapter. You know, he's not getting any younger, and he's done it all in WWE. This could be how he stays relevant, how he cements his legacy.
It's like he's saying screw it to his old image, to everything he's been for the past, 20 years?
It's like he's finally getting rid of that super Cena skin, the goody two-shoes hero. And he's going for something a bit darker, a bit more complex.
And that complexity is what makes it all so interesting. He's not just some boring bad guy. He's got reasons for being this way. He's frustrated.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what makes him such a compelling character, even when he's the villain. He forces us to look at some hard truths about fandom, about the stuff these performers go through, and about what's real and what's just a performance.
And speaking of Cody Rhodes, we got to talk about how he responded to Cena's rant. He didn't just stand there and take it, you know?
Absolutely not. He came back swinging, both figuratively and literally, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He stuck up for the fans, talked about how loyal they'd been to Cena over the years, how they always gave him their best because he was special.
But he also threw down the gauntlet, challenged Cena to bring back the real John Cena, the one who inspired all those people.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move. He acknowledged that the fans loved Cena, but he also called him out for turning his back on them.
And he took Cena's kid insult and turned it right back on and reminded everyone that HU was the WWE champion and he wasn't backing down.
Yeah, that's classic good guy strategy, taking the heel's insults and using them as fuel. It's like he's saying, I'm not scared of you, and I'm not letting you disrespect me or the fans.
So Cody's basically the voice of the fans now, the one standing up to Cena's bitterness.
Exactly. And that's a really powerful position to be in. He's the symbol of everything Cena's pushing away now. The hope, the optimism, the connection with the audience.
It's a classic hero versus villain story, but with some really interesting twists.
And that's what makes it so good.
Okay, so we've got this really interesting dynamic between Cena and Rhodes brewing, and it all comes down to WrestleMania 41. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think the big question is this heel turn permanent? Has John Cena really embraced the dark side, or is this all just a temporary shift to build up the rivalry with Rhodes?
Yeah, if it is temporary, it's a pretty huge risk, right? I mean, alienating a huge part of your fan base just weeks before WrestleMania, your biggest event of the year.
Oh, it's a gamble for sure, but it's a gamble that could really pay off big time. Think about the emotional investment this creates. Fans are either going to completely hate Cena's guts, which makes Rhodes' win even more satisfying, or they'll be desperate to see Cena redeem himself, which gives his character a whole new direction.
So no matter what happens at WrestleMania...
Any younger, and he's done it all in WWE, this could be how he stays relevant, how he cements his legacy.
It's like he's saying screw it to his old image, to everything he's been for the past, 20 years?
It's like he's finally shedding that Super Cena skin, the goody two-shoes hero. And he's going for something a bit darker, a bit more complex.
And that complexity is what makes it all so interesting. He's not just some boring bad guy. He's got reasons for being this way. He's frustrated.
Exactly. And that's what makes him such a compelling character, even when he's the villain. He forces us to look at some hard truths about fandom, about the stuff these performers go through, and about what's real and what's just a performance.
So what should we be watching for as this storyline unfolds? What are the key things that will tell us whether this heel turn is the real deal or just temporary?
Well, I'd say keep an eye on his actions, not just his words. Does he start cheating to win? Does he deliberately disrespect the fans? Does he team up with other heels? These are all classic signs of a wrestler going full-on bad guy.
And what about how he interacts with Cody Rhodes?
That's going to be key. Will he continue to go after Rhodes' connection with the fans? Will he try to use Rhodes' optimism against him? The way these two interact in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania will tell us a lot about where Cena's character is headed.
It's like a psychological chess match, with both wrestlers trying to outsmart the other.
And the stakes are huge. Not just the WWE Championship, but the future of John Cena's legacy.
This deep dive has been awesome. You've given me so much to think about. I feel like I understand this whole situation on a whole new level.
And that's what we're here for. We've only scratched the surface, though. This John Cena heel turn is just one example of how complex and ever-changing the world of pro wrestling is. There's always more to explore, more layers to peel back.
And we encourage everyone listening to do just that. Don't just take our word for it. Go back and watch that segment again. Pay attention to all the little details, the nuances, how the crowd reacts. See if you can come to your own conclusions about what this all means for John Cena, for Cody Rhodes, and for the future of WWE. Until next time, keep on diving deep.